YouTube! What's going on, everybody? Raptor Gaming here, bringing you an updated deck profile of my branded Blue Eyes deck. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. I've been working on this deck for quite a while now, as you guys know, and just figured I'd bring you an updated list, kind of show you what I'm playing. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'll just get straight on into it and not waste any of your guys' time. Hope you guys are all doing well. And to start off, we're going to play 2 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon. 3 is cloggy, especially when you're playing essentially a 3rd copy at 1 alternative as well. Basically, he's the heart and soul of the deck to get your big boss fusion plays going. And yeah, he's just kind of the center of the whole Blue Eyes engine, obviously. So next, we play 1 copy of Jet. I feel 1 copy works out pretty well. And 1 copy of Abyss. Abyss Dragon is crazy, being able to search you a ritual or polymerization directly from the deck, and also a level 8 or higher dragon on end phase, which is any level 8 or higher dragon, so that gets pretty crazy. So next, for the last Blue Eyes card, we are playing the one big bad boy, the Chaos Max Dragon. So this deck is going to be built, you can play it TCG, OCG, you know what I'm saying, you can play it on Master Duel, YDO, EDO, locals, big tournaments, whatever. It's prepared for that. This is also in conjunction, it's going to be a lot better once we get the new Blue Eyes fusion. So this deck is already built to support that. And I think it does it pretty well, because it says it needs 3 Blue Eyes monsters, so not necessarily Blue Eyes Ultimate, which is what is kind of going to take the cake there, and then a Chaos Ritual monster, or Blackluster Soldier Ritual monster. So this is going to be your Ritual monster for that. And another thing that you can play around with is like the Illusion of Chaos engine with the Dark Magician. You could definitely do a couple different things with that, but I'm just going to stick to the Chaos Max engine because it seems to be pretty decent. 1 stone, games are too fast. You need the recyclability, and you need it to special summon the Abyss Dragon. Get your, get your +2 off of. Next, I'm playing the 1 Levianeer. I think it's the best Chaos Dragon, the most bang for your buck, being able to either pop cards, shuffle a card, or Monster Reborn. Pretty great, pretty searchable, all around. Just a good card. So just 1 though, you don't want to see too many, especially in this deck. You play enough cloggy stuff being Brick Eyes White Dragon. So next we're playing a small Bestial package, 1 Lubellion, 1 Druisworm, and of course the 1 Magnemite. I am not playing any of the spells or traps. You could play those. I just don't want to clog on them, and essentially Lubellion and Magnemite to me is basically your dragon searcher to get you to anything, and then Druisworm is just kind of a nice all-around, beat stick wall card. Obviously you can side these out, you can change them. They're not hugely impactful to the deck, but I feel like they're kind of a nice push, and they can be hand traps, kind of dual purpose, and so that's why I play them in here. Feel free to change those if you would like. I like the Bestials. So 1 Phantasme, another card that you can change. You can up it. I would say play like 2 if you want to up it, but ultimately I just needed something kind of generic that was a nice hand trap. You have all kinds of Link monsters running around, especially with Little Knight running around being so popular. Just being able to get a draw and throw out a Omni Negate is pretty nice. But fixing your hand is usually very, very helpful. So just 1 copy. There again, very searchable with Lubellion and the Bestials. And yeah, so next, we're only playing 2 copies of Albez. 2 is really all you need. Like I said, this is going to be a TCG, OCG, ready to go deck. So we're not maximizing on branded fusion, with that being said, which actually, surprisingly enough, I don't feel like it hurts the deck. I feel like it helps the deck, just because you don't start clogging on the whole like branded fusion line being that way. So 2 is really all you need. I have yet to need a 3rd copy with this build. I'll let you know if that changes, but all in all for now, pretty good. 3 copies of Cartesia. She is the bread and butter. She is the, you know, pretty much the 2-card combo with any other monster to start getting your plays going. Like I said, she fuses with any other monster in the deck, so making Grange, sending a monster from extra deck to grave, or even main deck. You can send a main deck card from deck to grave. So Cartesia is super nice. Being a level 4 light tuner, that plays a lot into other stuff as well that I'm playing, which we will get there. But yeah, do not forget that. There's a lot of interesting things you can do with that. Next, we were playing double copies of Aluber. You could bump this down to 1. You could play it at 3. I'm kind of just testing 2 for now, just because I wanted to get a little bit more consistency to the branded fusion, but try not to still, you know, jeopardize the whole bricking aspect of it. So I'm going to run 2 and see how it works out. Interestingly enough, this can play into the Chaos Max OTK combo with this deck. So potentially, if like this is engraved, it'll help with that as well. So just food for thought there. And then for the last monster of the deck, we're playing the 1 Alistair, the Invoker, because it is just fantastic little support engine for the deck. I only play 1 Alistair and 1 Invocation while we're talking about it. Being able to normal summon to search this obviously is, you know, always nice. But even if you draw into this, this is a fusion, you know, source for, you know, cards in your hand. You know, you could open up Albaz with anything and make a fusion. You could open up Alistair and Invocation, and as long as you see another monster, obviously you're good to go. So ultimately, I don't feel like this is a loss. You could change this if you wanted to. If you're like, this isn't really, you know, working out in my opinion, you could change it, but I do like what it does so far. So obviously we're going to get into spells. I'm playing the 1 Chaos form for Chaos Max. Obviously want to be able to play him, summon him, OTK with him. And then even when the new fusion comes out, I mean, I would say if you are going to cut this card and you're not going to play a way to summon him, which is okay, I would still probably consider switching to like the Illusion of Chaos engine, just because it'll do a little bit more for you. I don't know, that'll be kind of a toss-up though, just because Chaos Max is going to be more searchable, obviously. So a lot of stuff to play around with there, but I figure why not play Chaos form and search them. So just 1 copy, don't need more than 1. 2 Melody of Awakening Dragon for the Blue Eyes spells, and also 2 Dragon Shrine. These kind of go hand in hand, and if you did want to cut down on this ratio at all, I would cut this down to 1, take this away. But ultimately I'm going to try this out just because this is a 1 card Chaos Max, and essentially it gets you access to you know, Abyss, recycling Blue Eyes back to hand. So essentially Dragon Shrine by itself will get you the Chaos Max, the Chaos form, or Polymerization, and then you have access to Abyss on the field, and you have recyclability for Blue Eyes. So there's already most of the fusion just in 1 card right there. So essentially if you can just see another Blue Eyes card or search it, or even dump Jet to the grave with like a Grange, you know, you pretty much just set up the new fusion right there. So I might even bump this card up to 3 when the fusion comes out, just because it does so much in that regard for the deck. So, but yeah, 2 for now. 2 works pretty good. Next, we're playing 1 copy of Small World. Just 1. It's kind of nice to be able to just swap into whatever monster you want out of the deck. And usually you need to see certain combo pieces, and this just kind of helps fill the void. You could also play around with like Chaos Space or some sort of like draw card. But so far I like Small World just because I want to see what I want to see usually at the time. So in worst case scenario, you just discard it, or, you know, ditch it, however you can if you don't need it. So not usually too big of a deal. I am playing the 1 copy of Polymerization for the Searching Abyss, but also just kind of a nice generic fusion spell. You could switch this, being that Cartesia is so prominent in the deck, but I just kind of wanted to capitalize on some sort of fusion spells to help get the fusion plays going. You are playing a total of 4 fusion spells, five fusion spells in the deck. So counting polymerization, so I don't feel like the ratio is too high, but do what you want with that. Next, I'm playing 2 copies of Super Poly. Just a nice board breaker, and all around, I find myself more and more using this as like a defensive fusion spell when I'm trying to like make a fusion and my opponent tries to like interrupt my field. I can like chain this to chain block and just make my fusion anyway. So all in all, it plays very well into that. Not to mention, we are playing the Super Poly targets to take care of the opponent's board a lot of the time. So kind of has a dual purpose in this deck, and I really like this card. You can even play this at 1 if you wanted to, just so you don't ever clog on it, but that's up to you. You could also side deck it. So next, for the defensive spells, I am playing 1 Triple Tactics Talent and 1 Call by the Grave. Obviously, Call by the Grave is just a nutty card, being able to stop pretty much any hand trap that hurts this deck, minus like Imperm, which Imperm you can kind of play around in most cases, because Cartesia you just activate, you just play through the Imperm, play it on your opponent's turn. And then talents is just kind of all around free, being able to pick what you want to do. A lot of times I find myself looking at my opponent's hand and shuffling a card back in just so I can see like what they're playing, and that's also really nice. So just 1 and 1, you'll never clog on it, and good defensive options. Next, I am playing 1 copy of Nadir Servant, just 1. Recycles Albez and obviously sends a monster from extra deck to grave, which you can get a lot of your plays going that way. But I don't feel that it's also like really necessary, because you don't necessarily want to lock yourself out of the extra deck, especially this deck like almost depends on having like 2 to 3 like starter cards in hand to get your plays going, to like play through hand traps. So I don't want to like clog too much on a Deer Servant. You could up it to 2, but yeah, either way, 1 seems to be working pretty good. So next, I'm playing triple copies of Fusion Deployment. Fusion Deployment's really good. Getting access to Cartesia, Albez, Blue Eyes White Dragon, Alistair. You have so many targets, so this card's kind of silly not to play. It basically equals any one of those materials that you want. So I would definitely maximize this card, and seeing 2, if not 3 in your opening hand is okay, just because, hey, as long as you see a monster with it, you're usually pretty much set. So next, we're playing 1 copy of Branded Opening and 1 copy of Branded Fusion. There again, I don't really want to clog on this line, and not to mention I wanted to make this deck universal across any and all platforms. But I honestly, like, in my like deck building for that, I feel like the deck has just naturally gotten better, because believe it or not, I don't feel like obviously 3 fusion Branded Fusion isn't bad, but it's just you don't clog so much on it. So, and then you also don't have to play like the 3rd Albez to potentially clog on the Albez. So, and I realize Albez is good going 2nd, but if you're going 1st, you don't necessarily always want to just see the Albez. So anyways, that's kind of my reasoning behind that. And obviously Branded Opening can protect fusions by banishing it from grave, so it's kind of a dual purpose. And then lastly, I am playing just 2 copies of Infinite Impermanence. I was playing 3. You can swap this card for whatever you want as well. Any changes you want to do, you could do like Floodgate Trap Hole to support the Chaos Max OTK, which we will go over that at the end. And I will kind of show you my thought process behind that. Next, for the extra deck, I am playing 1 copy of Baron de Fleur. This will probably be the card that I cut for the new Blue Eyes Fusion once it comes out. Just because you make this with Cartesia and one of the Bystials. And it's nice when it does come up, but it's a little few and far between. Obviously, if you up the Bystial count or play a higher Bystial ratio, like maybe you'll cut something else. And this is still a very, very good option. But yeah, for now, it works. 1 Chaos Angel, just because it's so universal in this deck, being able to, deal with boards, break boards. It's kind of an all-around good threat. So, and then lastly, for the synchros, 1 Lulawith. It's Lulawith. You send it from extra deck to grave. You get a special summon a light same attack, same defense spellcaster, which is Cartesia, or it's a Omni Negate when a card leaves the extra deck, and then gives all your monsters on field 500 attack permanently. So ultimately, all in all, nice synchro. For the fusions, we'll start off with the super poly targets. I am playing the Mud Dragon and the Garura. Obviously, you can play more, you can play less, but ultimately, these are the only two that I opted for just because they hit the majority of decks. And you can also send this to get a free draw if you don't find yourself needing it or just need to draw more. Sometimes that does come up. Next, for the Blue Eyes fusions, I am playing one Tyrant. Just being able to attack everything and honestly being unaffected by traps is kind of nice. And then also playing the Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon. For now, it works pretty good, but it'll work even better when the new support comes out, just because this will probably be what you tag out into if your opponent makes your other fusion leave the field. You can special summon this card, and then it'll just be a 4,500 beat stick that can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects, and you can still pop a card. So it's kind of nice. Next, I will just get this out of the way. We're playing the one Invoked Makaba. It's the only Invoked fusion that I feel you really need, other than like you could play Purgatrio if you wanted. But yeah, I think it's just the most versatile one, being able to Omni Negate, banish any card type that you discard for it is really, really good. And if you can find the room, you could play the Maiden Link monster just to give yourself the one card Alistair combo. I just can't find room for it. So, but I would suggest playing that just in case it did come up for those random times that you kind of brick with just an Alistair. So, next I'm playing one copy of Despian Corderus. Being able to fuse the Aluber with anything, sometimes comes up. And then obviously this, when this is destroyed, you can special summon an Albaz and continue plays, and kind of protects you from battle too, being able to lower everything else's attack, except for fusions. So next we are playing one Lubellion. Lubellion just plays around the whole banishing thing, so Macrocosmos type effects, to where it's kind of mandatory to play. I was not playing it for a while, but I've learned you just kind of need it. So just one copy of this card. Next, we're playing the two Albions, the Branded Dragon and Sanctifier. Sanctifier is really good. It's part of the Chaos Max OTK that I've got kind of figured out for the deck. Then obviously this is your main bread and butter to light fuse and send your light targets. So yeah, definitely play that. We are playing one copy of Albalinitus. Obviously, being able to send this for any fusion spell is really powerful. Being able to get you fusion deployment, branded fusion, polymerization. It's kind of just whatever you're missing or whatever you need. Not to mention, of course, the main boss man himself. It is a Mirrorjade target to send, to banish, and then Mirrorjade being really good to just potentially nuke your opponent's board. Really, really good. So just one copy of each of those, and then lastly one Grange, obviously for the fusion deployment Cartesia targets, but obviously this is really good on its own, being able to pull out the Lulawith and the Corderus off of its effect, and you can banish it from field or graveyard, meaning that you could let your opponent like swing into it and attack and then just banish it out of grave, or cheat it out right away if you need it a little faster. So that is it for main deck and main deck and extra deck. Let's go into side deck. Side deck is your personal preference, but I am playing two copies of Nibiru. I've come to find that like with this deck, you don't really have to side like crazy, but when you do need to side, like usually you're like losing to time or yeah, I would say mainly time, or like you'll figure out kind of what deck you're playing against and then go, okay, I need to hit this deck with this. So Nibiru, just to kind of break or stop the combo plays. I am playing the Golden Chicken package, the 3 Spear Mode, 1 Raw. You could obviously switch to Raw if you want to be extra competitive, but I just like playing Raw. And then obviously, yeah, this is like your going second board breaker that deals with like the really big boards that have like 16 negates. You want to deal with those. Next, I'm also playing 3 copies of Ash on the side and 3 copies of the Ghost Sister Spooky Dogwood. This is kind of like my going to time / defensive options, being able to just side all these in and potentially stop your opponent, because usually you need to kind of, you know, swing the game back into your favor without actually having a turn. So yeah, that's kind of like the idea behind that. You can obviously switch it up if you find yourself having a different problem. I am playing also 2 copies of Twin Twister, and I would probably suggest bumping this up to 3 if you wanted to cut the Winged Dragon Raw or the Sphere Mode ratio down at all. Just being able to stop a lot of those, like, you know, quick effect like Macrocosmos type, or, you know, spells and traps in general on standby. You know what I'm saying? You just chain the Twin Twister from your hand and discard and pop 2. So, or you can play Cosmic Cyclone, you can play Mystical Space Typhoon, all valid options over Twin Twister. I just like Twin Twister. So, and then lastly, I am playing the 3rd copy of Impermanence in my side deck, which also kind of comes back to the whole like hand trap thing, like being able to stop your opponents kind of in like the whole time aspect, or just you kind of like get more familiar with what to hit, so you're able to kind of side it in and out a little easier. Obviously, this is all personal preference. The main deck and extra deck are kind of more, I don't want to say set in stone, but like it's more of a guide for you. So yeah, anyways, let me know what you guys think. I will kind of explain the Chaos Max OTK real quick. So essentially, what you can do is, if you see Dragon Shrine or a way to Branded Fusion, or essentially both, you kind of have like a way into the combo, or even just like a Cartesia. Really, this can be Cartesia with like another monster, it doesn't really matter. But essentially, what you're trying to do is you're trying to special summon. You're going to activate Stone, or the Dragon Shrine, to send the Blue Eyes of the White Stone, right? So there's the end phase. You get to special summon the Abyss, and that's going to give you your Chaos Max play. And then Branded Fusion essentially is going to get you straight away into the Sanctifier. And what Sanctifier is going to do, because you're going to use Albaz and Cartesia as a fusion, right? Well, the fun part about this is, as long as you're not playing a mirror match, and this is kind of where the Aluber will be a little bit better for if you are, but this is 0 defense. So you take Albion's effect, you throw this on your opponent's field in defense, and then you search the Chaos Form Chaos Max with this. So next turn you follow up, and you can activate this effect at their end phase. So you can activate this effect at any given point during your opponent's turn. Draw phase, standby phase, doesn't matter. So if you put this on their field at the end phase, especially if they're not playing a mirror match. If you are playing a mirror match, like I said, Aluber, but it's 0 defense, or if you have Jet Dragon is also a 0 that you can give them, and then you just attack, win the game. So that's kind of the idea behind that. That's kind of, it doesn't come up like a whole lot, but it's kind of a nice little OTK you can do. So, and I'm trying to work on getting that a little bit more consistent. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, let me know what you do differently. This is kind of my updated branded Blue Eyes deck. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Yeah, there again. Hope you guys found it kind of interesting. I like making these videos for you guys. So yeah, let me know. And have a good day, everybody, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.